Hey, enthusiasts, what's happening? This is Salty Language episode 664. Well, we're starting off real good here.
God damn it, Brian. We're only
I'm
two
not,
away from the Devil's episode. I'm pretty
I know, I
excited.
can't wait. Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to do anything special, but
It's where I missed
we
that
should.
we can't have music because, we'd for sure have some Iron Maiden or Shout Out at the Devil. We'd have all the
I
devil stuff
mean,
we could throw.
we could just play it off my phone real close to the microphone.
No, we're still violating laws that way.
Fuck them laws.
Wait. I don't know about that.
This is a lawless land you and I live in.
Is it?
Yes.
Are we on, was it, I forgot what it's called, the international waters of podcasting?
That's right. That's why I take a little bit of international waters whenever I'm in it, and I put them inside my shoes. So I'm always on
nice.
international waters.
Damn, that's smart. I'll have to start doing that.
Right?
Like, we've got you cornered. Be like, I'm wearing international waters. Like, dang it.
Like, son of a bitch, he did it again.
He got us again.
It's like that little freaking weirdo from The Mummy that, has every religious symbol around his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cover all bases, baby.
Cover all bases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, man. How you doing, Brian?
Oh, not too bad. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad we didn't podcast yesterday. Like when you sent me the message and was like, so how about tomorrow? And I was like, oh, good. I'm like, I just was so tired yesterday.
Yeah.
I slept like garbage, so plus it gave me the opportunity to watch, I got to watch Raw and look around at the crowd to see if I saw any goobers I recognized since it was in our hometown of, glorious Toledo, Ohio.
It is glorious. Glass City, that's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll do better in Toledo.
Yeah, I guess.
Or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, they did a couple drone shots, because they always do whatever city they're in, you know, and they got a nice shot of the bridge downtown and I don't know what it's called now, but it used to be the OI building.
One Seagate, my guy.
Okay. I was like, I know they've changed it like 3 times since then. Yeah. So yeah, but they got a nice little shot of, the river and in the, downtown Toledo and stuff. Now, it was funny though, because like I kind of thought they might get a picture at some point, show like Fifth Third Field and or the Huntington Center. Nah,
fuck that shit. No one cares.
It's like they just did one drone shot. Like, hey, somebody get the river in those buildings. That'll work.
Yeah, that's Toledo enough for the populace.
Yeah, it's interesting though. I got to talk to some people I know that were there because I'm watching it on TV and that crowd was dead. I mean, they didn't seem to really be like a hot crowd or chanting when they should be or whatever. So I got to ask some people who were there. It's like, did you feel like the crowd was good? Because on TV, and in fact, I saw a couple of people on Twitter even that are not from the area that were like, wow, Toledo, you really suck as far as crowd reaction goes.
Way to go, Toledo.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Like people don't think about it, but it's important if you're at those to really get into it, because if they go to a city and that city doesn't really give them a good TV crowd, they're not going to keep giving them TV shows.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Because they don't want a dead crowd. They want a hot crowd where they're lively for,
I want the dead crowd.
Yeah, like actual dead crowd.
Actual dead people.
Passing out Kool-Aid beforehand.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm curious to hear how people I know that went, how they feel, because on TV, it was, I don't know if maybe it was the acoustics of Huntington Center or what, but they just didn't seem to be into it till a good hour or so into it. And then they finally started, getting going a little bit.
Well, it's all the booze kicking in.
Yeah.
Toledo likes to drink,
True, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it is always interesting because I've heard that from other people when it's been in other cities, where they're like, wow, I watched it when I got home and it sounded like you couldn't hear anything, but it was like stupid loud in the arena, So it's like, well, that's so weird how sometimes it doesn't translate well.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah, because I watched the last time I went to one was a SmackDown show, and it wasn't. I mean, they said it was sold out, and it might have been sold out, but the seats weren't all full. I'll tell you that.
The room was papered.
I mean, me and T were able to spread out a little bit because being thick lads, we couldn't sit right next to each other because we're just all over each other. Because the seats are kind of narrow.
Essentially.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, we basically would have had to cuddle if we were sitting next to each other. So we put a space
Essentially.
between us. Yes. Well, I mean, how me and T did everything,
Yeah, of course.
But, so once we realized nobody else was sitting there, we, put a space between us, which was a little tough because it was loud enough. It was hard to talk to each other then. But, but that was super loud. When I watched it on TV, it also was super loud. So I was like, okay, that's why I'm wondering this time, like, what happened? I just think maybe, I don't know, maybe the crowd just wasn't into the early matches, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, if only Kronk would have been there. Oh, yeah, yes. Excuse me.
Speaking of wrestling, transition into that real quick. You and I gave the old AEW Fight Forever a go because we were hoping for some silly kind of throwback feels of the days when we used to just tornado tag and, beat the shit out of whoever. Have a time. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, I was. I'm not super happy with the game. I'm glad it's free. How about that? I'm sorry you bought it, Brian.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like as a game itself, it's fine.
Yeah.
But for the co-op options, it's really
I don't know. I mean, if you haven't played the road,
I bought it for like $20. I didn't
bad.
pay full price for it.
It's like if you haven't played the career mode's kind of goofy too. But
yeah, what's sad about it is it's been out long enough that I really thought they would have fixed certain things, and they haven't.
Yes.
I was talking with Fluffy Bunny Ash about this a little bit because I was telling her I finally played it. And we were discussing it, and she said across the board she gives it about a 7, and I'm probably a 6 to 7 on it because it is fun to pick up and play some matches. But I'm with you in that there's for sure some significant flaws that if they they should be making another one because I've read that it's done pretty well.
Well enough, huh?
Yeah, to warrant a sequel. So hopefully maybe that's why they're not putting all their eggs into this one, is maybe they're like, hey, people received it pretty well, so let's just really come out strong on the next one, maybe.
Hopefully, because I mean, my major complaint with it, well, one was I didn't think the online multiplayer was cool. Like we had fun when we were playing, but
there is another option I read.
Not the great. What do you got?
Because I looked to see if there was tornado tag available. Because I was wondering if maybe if you turn DQ off, if maybe we could kind of enter the ring whenever.
Yeah.
And maybe that's an option, but it doesn't look like that's really. It looks like you still have to, like tag and like the tag rules and everything still apply. There is the Stadium Stampede. You can play in teams of 2 apparently. But I don't know how that, I don't know how that mode is. That's their battle royale, basically.
I was just like, man, it's crazy to think that like a game that was on a Nintendo 64 just felt more robust.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're also, even though I know it was 1,000 years ago, it did have the WWE brand on it, so it carried much heavier expectations.
Well, true, but you know what I'm saying.
But I know what you're saying, yeah.
Like, I mean, like I was super annoyed when if I'm not the active dude in the ring.
Yeah.
And it forces me out of the ring, and then my guy's just somewhere.
Yeah, because
sometimes getting my ass kicked.
Yeah, in the WWE ones, usually if they force you out, your guy will like run back to the corner,
or at least pans out so you can see it.
Yeah, and this didn't change the camera angle at all. I think I read that they have it to where like that there's like a couch co-op, like a couch version that actually is a better a better experience than playing it online.
We'll have to try that, I guess.
But it is really dumb that in the online version, you and I didn't get our own camera.
Yeah, it's silly.
It was all whoever was legal at the time controlled the camera. It reminded me of playing the Lego games. As much as I love the Lego games, the fact that when you're playing co-op, that you are on the same screen and you can only, like if you go the opposite way of the person who's the first player, you're just cut off basically, or you can't see what you're doing really. It's stupid, but what are you going to do?
I'm also not a huge fan of the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack's all right.
Like when I was creating, because I did make Kronk, that's why I made that joke earlier from,
right.
Emperor's New Groove. I also made One Punch Man, Brian.
Oh, nice, nice.
But so like the song that plays when you're making your character at first, it's just like, I'm all up in career mode.
Yeah.
I'm all up in career. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm all gonna throw myself out the fucking window.
Well, I think you can mute tracks in the
I just
jukebox.
muted the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I can't take this anymore. I only unmuted it when I was trying to pick my entrance music.
That song is pretty annoying. And like, it's interesting because there's 3 or 4 songs on the soundtrack that are by wrestlers.
Really?
Yeah, like that's one of them. Max Caster does like 2 or 3 songs on there, and Swerve Strickland has 1 or 2, I think, on there. And then there's a couple where they have wrestlers on them, but it's more that it's like one of their catchphrases or something like that. It's not really, they didn't write the tracks. But that one's
if it's not Macho Man Be a Man, get out of here.
Yeah, it's pretty. That one annoys the shit out of me.
Oh my god,
when it comes on,
I'm all up in career mode.
It feels like that's all he's saying is just blah 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 career mode over and over, and he's not. He says like 2 or 3 different lines, but it all hits the same.
Yeah,
and it gets super annoying. The biggest thing that annoyed me was the targeting.
Yes, the targeting's terrible.
Like, you were literally grappling with a dude. You got out of that, and then your guy immediately focused on the other, which allowed the guy to get up and attack you. And it was like, why? What the hell?
Like, I better go grapple the guy who's not legal right now.
Yeah, rather than keep applying pressure to the guy I'm beating the hell out of.
Yeah, it's silly. I'm happy to report Mad Max is still awesome, though.
All right, good.
Yeah, that's good.
That did. The targeting also did hurt us a couple of times when it came to trying to protect 100%. The other during a pinfall.
100%.
Like, I'm going to focus on the guy my partner's pinning on. Like, do you remember that one where I went to try to attack the other guy running in, and I dropped an elbow on, like, you and the guy on the ground? I'm like, what the hell? Like,
yeah. Like, I feel like it's got potential.
It does. It really does.
I'm also disappointed in the custom character mode at the lack of options for costumes.
Yeah, and the thing is,
there's like 8 million moves to get from.
Yeah, but when you go in and even in the store to unlock more costume stuff, there's not much.
There's really is. Yeah, it's just like,
and that's it. I know a couple of the DLC I think have a few more things, but from what I've read, it's still not a lot.
It's wild.
Yeah. So again, it's a good building block for a franchise. I think it's a very good first step, especially for a smaller company. I think it was there's for sure been way worse wrestling games out there.
Oh yeah.
It's a serviceable game. I mean, you can play a match and have fun, but there are some things that are very maddening in it. Like, I guess in some of the things, like there's one of the challenges in the game, I think that it's to I think it's to beat Big Show. Well, I'm sorry, Paul White via count out or something like that. And basically, people were struggling with it to where basically you've got to just take him out of the ring and literally beat the bloody hell out of him to the 9 count and then run back in the ring real quick.
And hope he doesn't get up.
No, that's what I'm saying is you have to go to like
you gotta hope, and you gotta hope he doesn't get up. Yeah.
Yeah. Hit it to where you're basically dropping him around the 9 count, and then you can jump in the ring real quick.
Because that ref is the slowest counter I've ever encountered.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. It's real slow. I had a couple last night. I was doing, because they have daily and weekly challenges and stuff too. So I was doing the daily challenges because they're usually like, win a match with this guy or whatever. It's like, oh, these are simple, and you just get money in the game. But it's like, this is easy money, And there were a couple times where I'm like, hit my signature move, pick him up, hit my finisher, pin him, and I'm like, 1, 2, 3, and it's more like 1, 2, kick out.
You're like, really, bud?
I'm like, of course they kicked out. You gave him 7 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Although I did enjoy the thumbtacks. Have you encountered the thumbtacks?
No, I haven't done a lights out match or anything yet.
Yeah, the thumbtacks are cool.
Yeah,
because you find a bag of them, and your dude's like, looks like he's holding like testicles. He's just like, whoa. Yeah. And then you dump them, and then you can just slam dudes into them, and they get up, and they got tacks in their back and shit.
Right.
I'm like, and it had a very ECW vibe, because the first time I power bombed someone in the tacks, the crowd was just going, holy shit, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, ECW,
That's for sure something that WWE won't put in their game, because, they want to keep the game like PG-13 or PG, basically, Like once in a while someone can drop It's usually The Rock is the one who had permission to do it, but most of the other guys still have to say crap. Whereas on AEW TV, they say shit like at least once a week, or once in a while they'll drop almost drop an F-bomb, or they'll drop one and it'll get censored or whatever. But they're a little looser with the language than WWE is. Once WWE goes to Netflix, I'm curious if that continues or if they loosen it up, because Netflix doesn't have to worry about sponsors.
That's true.
I mean, they do, because they do have that ad tier, but they don't because there's also a tier with no ads.
Yes.
So I'm curious how that turns out,
Speaking of Netflix, my guy.
Yeah.
Watched Godzilla -1.
Oh shit!
Over
I keep
the weekend.
forgetting to watch that. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that's all I've heard, is that it's a really good movie. Is it a subtitle or is it a dub?
It's whatever you want.
You have both? Okay, yeah. Cool. Because I know my mom wants to watch it, and subtitles would be tough because it's usually small on the TV. It's hard for her to read.
For sure.
So cool.
No, it's because I came up watching Godzilla movies.
Oh, me too.
And it felt like, this is why I said this to Michelle. I'm like, this is why American cinemas need to just not make Godzilla movies.
I've seen quite a few people with the same opinion.
Whoa, what's an opinion?
With the same opinion, that they're like, can we just not allow American cinema to touch Godzilla anymore? Can we only have Japanese Godzilla?
It felt like an actual, like, updated, just old school Godzilla movie.
Excellent. That's exactly what I want, because I absolutely have not been a big fan of the American ones. They're fine.
They're fine, but at the same time, you're like, come on.
They're more about the human part of it than they are the Godzilla part, and I just want a stupid monster wrecking the city up.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of human stuff in this movie, but it's not like oh, Godzilla's here for the people defending us. Yeah. He's just there to fuck shit up.
Well, it is interesting because in some of the Japanese ones, Godzilla was there to protect from like Mothra or Mechagodzilla or
slow
whatever.
Down. Mothra was always a good guy.
True. Plus, actually, you're right. Mothra was the good guy. You're right. And apparently there was a Space Godzilla, which I don't think I've ever seen that one.
I hope he had a giant astronaut suit on.
Oh, me too. That would be just Godzilla,
just like a full-blown suit.
Yeah.
No, it was really
Space Godzilla.
It was really good though.
Awesome.
Highly recommend watching if you got Netflix. I'm for sure
gonna watch it. I was so excited when the other night I saw it was trending on Twitter, and I'm like, why is this trending? And I click on it, and it's like, it's on Netflix now, and I'm like, holy shit! I didn't even know it was, like for a while. I keep checking to see when it was going to be on streaming, and people are like, it might be a while, And I'm like, okay, why? It's not in theaters anymore. Like, what are we waiting on here?
Reasons.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I expected it to be on like Max or something like that, and then when I saw Netflix, I'm like, oh, I didn't really care what it was on. It was like,
like I just want to watch it. I just want to watch it.
Yeah.
No, it was good. Good shit.
Excellent.
Yes.
Glad to hear it.
Yes.
I'm almost done with Death Note. I'm at episode 33.
Oh, nice.
So I got 3 or 4 more to go. And I saw a lot of people online that were basically like, again, no spoilers, but in the arcs that there is in the show, that the first arc is better than the second arc. And I very much agree with that. I don't think the second half is as good as the first, probably 15.
Right.
But it's still good, but I don't think it's as good. One thing I got to talk about from it, though, is, dude, when they switch the opening song from some like K-pop thing to like this like heavy metal song, that song goes way harder than it needs to for that show, but I fucking love it.
It seems like anime does that. It's like almost every season sometimes we'll switch up the intro song.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which one I was watching, but it was one of those same ideas where I was like, there is no reason for this intro to go this fucking hard, but it goes so hard.
But I'm here for it. It's by a band called Maximum the Hormone.
Oh, that's nice. I like the name.
Yeah, and apparently they're a Japanese like metal band. So I was like, I kind of want to hear other stuff from them just to see if I dig it. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but I'm enjoying it.
It's all about the energy, man.
It really is, because as soon as that starts, it's, you know, you see on the screen, it's like Death Note, and then it's like no. Like when they switched from the other one, because the other one's like you know, like, and you're like, okay, whatever, it's poppy and whatever. And then when they switch to this other one, I'm like, what the
like, damn, you just punched me in the face with brutal metal.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go.
Oh god, excuse me.
I'm loving it. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna move on to after this, but I mean, I know this weekend we're gonna have
obviously Chainsaw Man. Duh.
Oh yeah, right. Of course, Chainsaw Man. Actually, I might start Chainsaw Man because I kind of want to. But like this weekend, we got, you know, two series coming back that are pretty big.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't remember. Did you watch House of Dragon?
No.
No. Okay. Because that comes back Sunday.
I know The Boys is coming back.
And The Boys is coming back. Yeah. That's the bigger story.
Yeah, I didn't watch it yet, but I just saw it on my social media while I was like at work. Apparently, Liquid Death and The Deep have teamed up for some advertising.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, oh, that's hilarious. At first, I thought it was a gimmick, and then I kept watching it on silent. I'm like, no, this is a...
Well, I mean, it is a gimmick, but
I mean, it is, but you know, like I thought it was someone being silly, like I do, of taking clips and cutting them out of context.
Right.
No, it was the guy. It was The Deep.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what the hell they get up to in this season of that show, because every year you're just like, how do they go from here? And they keep finding a way. So
they certainly do.
It's one of the reasons to keep. It's one of those shows that I feel like even if it's really not good, I probably would keep watching it just because I want to see how they keep.
Yeah, what's sort of train wreck or
what they're going to do next. Yeah.
Luckily, it is good.
It is. Yeah. I'm super excited for it.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
I actually forgot that it was this month. I thought it was next month that it debuted, and I saw something the other day. It was like, you know, like 4 days from now. I'm like, oh shit. Like, excellent.
Right.
So.
Oh man. Well, how was your weekend, my guy?
Yeah, it was pretty boring. Didn't do a whole lot. So that's basically about it. I mean, played a mess of Diablo again the other night, and this is a significant update. Remember I talked before about how there's the strongholds in there, and I've been like definitely avoiding them.
Yes.
And then until I realized, I was like, oh, apparently they're supposed to be a little harder than your current level, just for a challenge, basically. And there's a couple missions that I have that it's side missions that it's like you have to beat the stronghold near there in order to basically unlock the thing. Because like one I did, the city is basically possessed, and the place you have to go for the dungeon is on fire. So you have to kill all the demons in the town to basically free the town, and then they put the fire out. Otherwise, you literally you can walk in the building, but you're just gonna burn to death.
Exciting.
So, yeah.
What if I pick the fireman class?
I don't think they have a fireman class.
Oh well, shit. That's why I don't play, Brian.
Yeah. But you know, anyway, so I beat that stronghold so that I could do the dungeon and stuff, and it really wasn't that bad. Like I was expecting, I'm sure there's harder ones, but I was like, oh, that was it? I just had to keep going around town and killing, like you had to go into people's houses to where basically there was like a kind of like a sacrifice going on, and then kill the demon in the house, you know, which actually wasn't horribly hard. So
do you want to attempt that mission in my house? I've got a demon shaped like a cat. Just saying.
I mean, do I get a crossbow with like basically unlimited like ammunition?
I'll figure something out.
All right, because if so, I'm in. I mean, this would be fun.
There's nothing worse than you get up the next morning and your bag of extra cheesy pirate booty that was clearly rolled up and put away is open, and there's shit everywhere because she's a fucking pig. I mean,
you can't, like, first rule of cat ownership is if you leave it out, it's theirs.
Oh, hell no. So, I should have put a cucumber in the bag, scared the shit out of it.
Should have, yeah. That would have been funny. That's all that's in the bag is just a cucumber.
Just cucumber covered in cheese dust.
Yeah, they open it up. I saw somebody posted a cartoon the other day that was a cat dreaming of a cucumber being afraid of a cat being right behind him, basically.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
I thought that was good. Yeah. So anyway, so I, like I said, I have this thing with like, I kind of like, well, what if I fail it? What if I'm, and the other night I was just like, well, I'm basically at a point where I either do these side missions or I progress the main story. I've pretty much cleaned everything out I can clean out.
Right.
So it's like, all right, here we go. I'm going to do one of these. And so I got it done and, and then move the story a little bit. But they did announce that, what is it, in October, I think it is, they're putting out the first expansion for it.
Oh, nice. Spooky October month.
Yeah, it's going to have a new class where it looks like one of the pictures I saw, it looks like a dude's wearing like an animal pelt. And it was like, oh, I wonder if you can like turn into the animals and stuff. That'd be kind of cool.
Nice.
But what's weird, though, I looked at the pre-order numbers on it because in the game, it's like, hey, you should pre-order now. You get cosmetic things, which, on one hand, you know how I am. I'm always cool with getting cosmetic stuff versus, oh, the only way to get something really good is by paying monies. But it's like, this is a game a lot of people are playing. You're not really playing against other people, so I don't care as much.
Right, right.
Because if you can get an awesome weapon and I can get an awesome weapon, that means we both get awesome weapons and we can go kick ass with them, right? Like that's
100% true.
That's my thinking there. I don't care. Now, if we were playing against each other, I'd have more of an issue because then if I can't afford said weapon, I'm going to just get housed.
Yes.
But anyways, it looks like the base for it is $40. So, Jesus. And I'm like, there's a class, a whole new region. There's, some other stuff. There's dungeon, whatever. There's going to be, where you can level up higher and different stuff. And so I was like, there's stuff, but I'm like, I don't remember. I was trying to think of when they put out for Diablo 3, that first big expansion that they put out, but it was like the only expansion. But they gave a bunch of stuff out for free. All like afterwards, like they had different areas.
That was old Blizzard, though, Brian.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's not the same Blizzard. It's owned by Microsoft now. So, I'm curious how this works out because Blizzard was always notorious for adding levels and classes and all that kind of stuff for like free, basically, or for very little. So, I mean, odds are I'll probably end up getting it. But I was just like, whoa, okay, what's okay, $40. Damn it, my chair's messed up.
I guess since we're talking games, the old Helldivers, Brian, has their game base in a moral dilemma right now, and I think it's hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's always a major order going on, right?
Right.
So the one that's currently on, because I hopped on, I'm like, well, I know last night the other one was completed. Let's see what the new one is.
Yeah.
And it's like there's 2 planets calling for help.
Oh, no.
One planet has all these explosives that the automatons stole and are key components to making the anti-tank mines that we teased about for months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The other planet is a bunch of civilians trapped in the ruins of a children's hospital. Do you get the anti-tank mines or do you save the children?
No, and there's probably no possible way to do both, probably.
No,
right?
Because the way they do it, it's whatever planet's liberated first, that's the reward.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah.
And oddly enough, as of right now, the player base is going to liberate the children.
Oh, really? I thought the tank mines would be more important.
That's what I thought. But when I got to the bottom of the thing and like the ultimatum, like they did the trolley trick.
Right.
That's so funny to me that they did the trolley.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. When you told me the choices, I was kind of like, I think the tank mines are the better option.
Oh, it's so funny.
Although, it is also easy to remember that it's like, these aren't real children. They're,
that's
they're in game.
Yeah, they're in game. It's just funny to me though that they did that and the player base is going the way I did not expect.
I love that though, just for the social experiment part of it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Just to see what people choose.
So far, it's the children because the future Helldivers, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to keep feeding the fight for democracy.
I guess. So it's so silly.
Well, it's like there's this survival show that's on right after Raw where they're going through like New Zealand, and it's like.
Are they going to Mordor? If they're going to Mordor, Brian, it's Lord of the Rings. It's not a show.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? Like, But on this show, they give the people like no food allegedly. And like I saw in one of the episodes, they have a choice to where they could go a shorter path, or if they go a longer path, they can get food. And the option there is if you go the shorter path, if you're out in the lead, you can potentially extend your lead. But
it's like a race kind of.
Yeah. Okay. But it's basically like, I think it's like at each checkpoint, whatever the last team that gets there, they're eliminated basically. So, depending on where you're at, you have to make a choice. Like, do we want to risk falling back in the pack to make sure we have food? But if you get that food, you might be able to barter for other things down the road with teams who didn't choose that. Because I saw a preview for like the new episode. I'm not watching it. I just watched like 15 minutes of it just because I was sitting there and too lazy to change it.
Fair enough.
But I saw a preview for one of the upcoming episodes where one of the teams, like, they're literally portioning out, here's like 4 almonds. Ooh. That's how low on food they are. Yeah.
4 almonds. That's like a Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, right. And another team basically comes up and was like, hey, we have food. I didn't catch what it, but it's like, do you want to kind of make an alliance here?
Like, we have food. You guys have mouths and asses. If you know what you're saying.
I feel like we can work something out here. Yeah. We have almonds and loneliness, and you have mouths and assholes.
Yes.
Let's see if we can sort this out.
Yeah, it's barter.
Yeah. I feel like this is just another puzzle. So, yeah. But I thought it was kind of an interesting move because I'm like, God, I can't imagine. Like, because people, some of the teams are skipping the food. Like, one of the teams, they were basically like whatever they could find in the ground, worms and shit. That's what they were eating because they were, just trying to stay in the lead, basically. And I'm like, I just couldn't do that. The worst part to me is the overall prize. That's the first thing I always wonder on survival shows. Mm-hmm. What's the prize? And it's like $500,000, and you have to split that with another person. And of course you have to give like, 50, 60% of that to the government.
Well, yeah, taxes.
So you're going to walk away with very little money here for like this long trek of basically almost killing yourself.
But you know how it is. Oh, I could spin this into a career because I'm the guy that won New Zealand's dumbest team or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I just, on any TV show that's a competition, I feel bad for the people, whoever's first off, because it's like, that's the one thing I just, like, no matter what competition show I'm on, winning is obviously the goal, but it's just like, just don't be the first one off.
Yeah, right.
It's like, I just don't want to be the first asshole kicked out of here, Like Top Chef used to have it to where they would have like 20 spots available, but they would have 30 chefs, and I'm like, I just don't want to be one of these that didn't make the show.
Chop an onion, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Be that guy who fucked up his onion chop and he goes home.
And you go home. Yeah. It's like, I didn't even get a chance to show I could cook or not. I'm just out of here.
Yep. Like, damn it, I wore my silly glasses for no reason today.
Yep.
They're supposed to draw attention to me on TV.
Yeah, I quit my job just to go lose chopping an onion.
Yes.
Because, like most of those shows are, a couple weeks or whatever. So a lot of people, sometimes they can't keep their job.
I couldn't imagine trying to like, okay, I'm going to put my whole life on pause and I'm going to stop my whatever I'm doing for a job.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go hope I can make it to Top Chef.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, because if you win or get pretty far in it, it's probably life-changing.
Sure.
You start getting more notoriety around and when you go to another job or whatever, they can brag you up a little bit or whatever. Like, hey, our menu's prepared by Top Chef runner-up so-and-so, or whatever.
Yeah, but if you fucking break apart your hollandaise sauce.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're back home 3 weeks later and you're like, hey, job, is my position still open? No.
Like, buddy, we saw you couldn't even cut an onion.
Yeah, like really?
You're out. Time for a career change.
Yeah, crazy.
Like, damn it. All right, fine.
Here's one for you. This is kind of odd to me, right?
Yeah.
So I get this text from Leah last week, and they're like, hey, it was on Friday. They're like, hey, when are you going to be home for from work because I got to come by and talk to you. And immediately I'm like, oh, gee, what's happening?
Yeah, what's wrong?
What's wrong? So that was my first. I'm like, yeah, this definitely doesn't make me nervous. Like, no, it's all good. I'm like, oh, okay,
right, yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So they've been working at Big B Coffee for like maybe 5 months, but probably more like 4 months.
Okay.
And about a month ago or so, they were shift lead.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, wow. I'm like, one, you didn't tell me, kind of rude, because it just kind of came up in conversation.
Right.
Because they were like, oh, I got to do inventory. I'm like, what are you doing inventory?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a shift leader. I'm like, well,
when did this happen?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Also, like, good on them, because that's the kind of movement that like you and I made in places where it was like we get in there because we bust our ass and then bang, we're promoted.
Well,
either that or they have a lot of people quit and you're just war of attrition.
Well, I mean, and that just comes to my next point, because that's how we were, right, Brian?
Yeah.
So Leah, comes over. I'm like, so what's going on? Like, oh, I just want to let you know that, in like a month or so, I'm going to get promoted to assistant manager.
Nice.
Okay. I'm like, what? I'm like, do you guys have high turnover? No, not really. Like,
that's so funny, because it's like I didn't even want to say that because it feels like an insult, but it's not meant to be. It's the truth of any job.
Yeah,
like
because
that.
I'm like, you haven't been there that long, but
like honestly, when I was at Hollywood Video, I was a key holder within a month and a half. Part of that was because on my first day, the guy, Holtz, our buddy from high school, got me the job. He got fired, and he was a key holder. 2 days later, another key holder got fired for something. So basically, they were like, we need a key holder, and I was the one who was always there.
Yes.
So when they were decided who it was like, well, this is the guy we can always call to come in and blah, blah, blah. So it was a little war of attrition, but it was also like my performance also did dictate I was next in line, but it was just accelerated because less employees.
So yeah, that's what Leah's got going on in their life.
Well, that's cool.
I know.
Considering for a while they couldn't really
find a job
or be happy at a job.
Yeah. So they seem to like it, and they like the people they work with, and
awesome, very cool.
I mean, I did hear what they're getting paid, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Back in my head, they're taking advantage of you.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not going to downplay it. It's
so hard.
It's still a good move for Leah.
Right. And also at their age, it's hard not to fall into that. It kind of sucks. But I mean really at any age, I guess. But
what Leah was telling me too, they're really good about like working around people's schedules. So because Leah wants to go back to school coming up. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad there's some direction.
Yeah. I was just like, huh.
Because as a person who hasn't really had direction for a long time, I'm very much like, I hate to see anybody lose it while they still have, like, usually, when you're younger, you have that motivation and that hunger to, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to this, I'm going to what, as we get older, we're kind of like,
I wake up every morning like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wake up and I sit on the edge of the bed and I go, I don't want to go to fucking work today.
Right.
But that's just me, Brian. It's been a long time since I had a vacation.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't think it's just you. I think pretty much everybody wakes up that way on work days,
Yeah.
Or Sundays even sometimes, because it's like, fuck, I gotta go back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, that's usually me Sunday night going, God
that's what,
damn it.
Yeah. It's not when you get up.
I can't believe it's fucking Sunday night.
You sit on the bed at the end of Sunday and you're like, fuck, I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So I made some chopped cheeses yesterday on the old Blackstone.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the technique down better than I did the first time I did it.
Yeah, actually, that's something. I mean, I'm not going to do it on here. I'll probably like holler at you, when I'm going to do them. Just
I'm going to tell you my pro move I did yesterday.
All right.
Have a bowl. Because once the beef's cooked, get it off the flat top.
Okay.
And it gives you more time to get your other shit put together.
That's actually one of the questions I had.
And then you can scoop the meat out on the build your sandwich.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pro move right there.
Right, fair enough. It's really funny. In my one Instagram group, a guy got a stainless steel, like a good size. It's like a grill and griddle combo, and it's like side by side. One part of it's a grill, one part of it's a griddle.
Yeah.
So looks like it's pretty pricey piece of machinery there. And I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I just got a small Blackstone, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah, he's like, actually, I got that same one. And he's like, but I heard about a really great deal on this one. So I sold somebody I know, my Blackstone new in box, and then I just put all that money into, and plus with Father's Day, his kids and his wife threw some money toward it. So
for sure.
That was like awesome. Then we were talking about how much of a cult the Blackstone community
Oh
is.
yeah, that's right. I should get sweet cards and possibly gifts this weekend, Brian.
You better.
Hell yeah. Actually, the kids are taking me to lunch at Inside the Five.
Okay.
It'll be the first time they've ever taken me out, and I don't have to worry about it.
That's awesome. That's
weird.
a good step.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's
weird. It's weird because it's such a, that's got to be kind of a bittersweet day for you, because on one hand you do get to spend time with your kids, but also obviously dad club.
Well, yeah, of course. Well,
so
I
mean,
I'm seeing Mom and Chuck that morning, so
yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. You do have.
I've got stepdad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say replacement dad.
Alternate,
for sure, not true. Alternate's a good word. Yeah, because for sure not replacement.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love Chuck, but yeah. Nobody replaces your dad.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Well, not in our scenario. Some people who have bad experiences with their fathers.
That's
maybe,
true. That's true.
But in our experiences, we have mostly good memories of our dads. So, I had forgotten that this weekend was Father's Day until somebody mentioned it the other day, and I was like, oh yeah. And
I got to pick up some cods.
Get
some cods for the weekend because I'm meeting my parents, basically the whole family, for breakfast.
Oh boy, over rumors?
Yeah, over rumors.
Well, I know that your mom and Chuck are creatures of habit. It's like once they find a place, it's like, this is where we eat for X amount of time until we find next place.
We were like, hey, we just, like last week I went up to their house and helped them move all their furniture and shit, the ritual.
Right.
And I was like, well, grill set up, all the patio furniture's out. We're doing a cookout for Father's Day, right? And my mom's like, yeah, it's a good idea. And then I get a text, Sunday night, like, oh, well, Chuck doesn't want anyone to cook, so how about breakfast?
All right.
Like, okay.
That's fair enough. You shouldn't, because, I know, knowing you, I could see you being like, yeah, I'll do the cooking or whatever. But
this, I mean, honestly, with the kids taking me out, this will be the first Father's Day that I actually can just, like, chill.
Yeah,
because normally I'm like cooking or I'm taking care of other dads.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember you used to go to Jeannie's dad's on Father's Day, and you did all the cooking.
I did all the grilling,
or at least the grilling, I should say. Not all the cooking, but the grilling. So that's cool. I mean, on the other side of it, though, I know you do enjoy that. So
I do, but at the same time,
I mean, you deserve to get a little pampering
at the same
too, right?
time.
Yeah,
like I would always get a little salty about that. Good choice because of the show we're on.
Oh, yep.
And because I'd be outside sweating my balls off, and everyone's inside just like chilling, drinking beers, having a time, and I'm out there slaving over the grill.
Right.
I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Like you're just yelling inside. Those gifts better be real good.
Yeah, no shit. So yeah, this will be the first year I get to like relax. It'll be weird.
All right, cool. It will be, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool too. I mean, you'll get breakfast and breakfast and
lunch, and then I think we're going to Michelle's parents too. So,
wow.
And I don't think I'll do the cooking there, but I guess you never know.
So dinner too, then it kind of
maybe.
I mean, unless you got to take a little something with you, I don't know how that's working.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Well, it sounds like an all right day though.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
no real time to breathe in there.
That's pretty standard, unfortunately, for our weekends.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. That's how so many people are. You got to cram
all the shit into 3 days
or 2.5 days. Yeah,
it sucks.
Not even 3. Yeah.
Although I did get my air conditioner fixed over the weekend.
That's real good considering we've got the waves of hell coming.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be hot as fuck coming up.
Yep, and humid too, I think.
Oh yeah,
because why wouldn't it be? Right?
Why wouldn't it be? That's why I'm like, wow, I'm so glad that I have my new work spot where if I get overheated, I have an air conditioned office I can go into.
Oh, nice. It's funny last night, because it was really cool last night. I think it was in the 50s or something last night, right?
It was cold as fuck. I walked outside. I was like, whoa, it's crispy out here.
So obviously we didn't have the air conditioner on, but at one point I apparently I woke up and I was sweaty. I was hot, right? But I woke up from a dream in which I went out and turned the air conditioner on. So I must have been really hot that it permeated that far into my dream.
I mean, that's hilarious.
That I was just like, hey, I should go turn the air on. And when I woke up, I was like, God, it's hot in here. And I was like, maybe I'll go, because a lot of times I'll just drop it like 1 degree and it'll kick on for like one run and that'll be enough, So I was like, well, I'll go do that, because it's probably set at like 76 or something like that. So I'll drop it to 75 or 74, and then that'll usually be good. And when I got up, just as I was getting up out of bed, I heard it kick on, and I was like, "Oh, all right, right back into bed."
Like it knows.
It knew.
Yes.
Apparently, my house is run by
Gremlins.
No shit, I can't. Was it Sentinel Prime or whatever it was from X-Men?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good old Sentinel Prime.
So yeah, I'm glad you got that fixed though. That's
yeah.
good.
I mean, I was waiting on that Amazon part, and I still haven't got it.
Nice.
Like,
I can just send it back.
Yeah, I tried to cancel it, and they're like, "We don't think we can cancel this anymore." I'm like, "Well, you're for sure gonna get a return notification."
Yeah. Right.
Because either that, or maybe I'll just, because it's not gonna break the bank if I keep it. Maybe I'll hang on to it just in case. But that other one lasted 20 some years. So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's the odds of needing another one, hopefully, are low.
Yeah. Like, I don't expect to be in this house for 20 more years, honestly. So.
Right.
You
right.
know?
Yeah. Hopefully, a meteor will kill us all before then.
Absolutely, Brian.
That's all we can hope for.
I mean, it was kind of a pain in the ass because, I've never done it before, but at the same time, YouTube exists and I have power tools. So it all worked out.
Learning, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, but
that's why it bugs the shit out of me when, you know me, I am not a handy person at all. That's never been what I've been known for sure. It isn't that I can't do stuff. I just have zero. A lot of people are at least confident with like tools, and then they build on that. I don't really even have the confidence with tools. Like, I can do stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, I took industrial tech in junior high. I worked with my dad off and on with some tools. That's the extent of my tool work. Because as we talked before, my dad pretty much fixed everything around the house. I never really learned. And then I had a cousin who was in heating and air. So anytime that needed work, he would come over and do it. My uncle was an electrician and a plumber. So anytime any of that went wrong, he would come over and handle it. So it was a spoiled by luck there that a lot of those things around the house, I knew somebody who could just take care of it.
Right.
And they were like a pro at it. So it was like, well, if they'll come over and do it, why should I do it?
I mean, that's fair.
They're going to do it at a higher level than my ass is, so now those are, my cousin moved and my uncle passed away a few years ago. So now it's a little different to where now if something goes wrong, it's like, ooh, who do we know that knows anything about plumbing?
Right.
Because we don't want to pay a plumber,
Of course. Well, that's the whole reason I want to do it myself. Is I'm like, I mean, the motor I bought cost me like $120. I just got it from the place right across the street from my work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took the old one out and put it in my car and then took it over there. And I'm like, this.
I need this.
And I'm like, I already looked on your website. This is the model, but I just want to make sure these match.
Right. Yeah.
And and I did it. The next day?
Dusted it off and handed it back to you. Yeah.
It didn't take me that long to put it together Saturday. So
good. Yeah.
And then fired right up.
But you're right. It is amazing how many things that previously you would have probably just thrown away and bought a new one or blah blah blah. You watch a YouTube video and you're like, huh?
Yeah.
I can fix that. Or even like Reddit. With some of the Ask a Professional things on there. Where
I use all that to my advantage as much as I can.
I've done that. I did that with something on our refrigerator. I don't remember what it was. There was something our fridge was doing, and I went on there and I just typed it in, and guy was like, "Oh, that's simple." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh," and took care of it. And I was like, "Oh," and then it was like, well, like cool, because that just saved, a labor call plus, who knows what else.
Yeah, it's like our oven now. It just the temperature just runs away.
Okay, that's
it's called
fun.
like an E10 error or some shit.
Okay.
So we don't have an oven right now, except toaster oven, and it's either going to be a $15 part, which I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be like $100 and some part, which is still cheaper than a new oven.
For sure. Yeah.
But I've watched the videos. I'm like, I can do that.
It is interesting. Do you feel there's a like, nah, that's over my pay grade level? Okay.
Yeah. I've definitely
Well, I know some people with YouTube kind of don't have that to where they're like, I can fix anything. I'll just watch it. And I'm like, there's still certain things that I'm like, nah, I'm going to let somebody else handle that.
I like in my car, I've got my thermostat is kind of like every once in a while I get an error and it fucks up and I can clear it and it's still, but whatever. And, So I'm like, well, I've replaced thermostats in cars before. It's usually like, it's fucking right there. It's easy.
Yeah. Right.
So I watched the video because I'm like,
you gotta like rip the whole dash out to do it. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see where it is in my car. And I found a video. I'm like, all right. And you like have to take your so much shit apart to get to the thermostat.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
Then you look at how much it costs.
Yeah, because like my dad always said, he was taught when he worked for a dealership that you make more money with your pencil than you do with your wrench. And by that, he means that essentially, like if you're taking if you're replacing like a window in the car door, you don't just put, like took panel off, took window out, replace window, replace panel. You itemize everything because in the book it goes, turning a screw takes X amount of time. So basically to do this, this, and this, it's 15 minutes. So that's billable at this rate, and by the end, you're ending up billing the person for like 19 things, even though it took you 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But the book says it takes an hour and a half, right? So they bill for an hour and a half versus 10 minutes. So that's what it means that you make more with your pencil than your wrench. Because if you just billed by your actual time, it wouldn't be that expensive. You'd go, well, it only took me 10 minutes. Even if you go, well, we bill for at least half an hour at a time or, whatever, you're still not making as much as what the book tells you should make,
Yeah, no, it's like the video is insane. This guy's a mechanic. It's like a 40-some minute video with obviously edits.
Right.
But it's like, you got to take the air intake off. You got to take the battery out. You got to take like the top part of your engine apart. And like,
oh my gosh.
And I was just like, but every other time I've done this, and I've done it in multiple cars, it's always right there.
Yeah.
And now it's not. And luckily I work with two guys that live across the street from each other. And they're both one of them was a mechanic. The other one's very mechanically inclined. And I know I can just be like, hey, boys.
Yeah.
Let me drive out to Elmore and let's drink some beers and you guys can work on my car.
Right.
know?
Well, I mean, even if.
And I'll help because I do like learning.
Right.
But
even in the end, if you have to throw money at them, it's like, you're probably not going to throw the same money you'd throw to mechanic.
I know these guys.
Mechanic.
I just have to show up with Bush.
Yeah.
And they'll be fine.
That's what I was thinking too. Is like,
if I have the parts and I'm willing to help and I have beer, they'll be like, oh, let's do this.
Even if you grab like 230 racks and like whatever we don't drink it, you guys can just keep,
100%.
kind of a thing. It's still so much cheaper than paying 1 hour of labor.
Yeah, because the like estimation from according to Google, I don't know how accurate that is. It's like $500 to $700, and I'm like,
because of the amount of work involved.
Because the amount of and it's one of those things like you were saying earlier. That's like above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Like there's too much involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm not afraid to work on my car, but there's so much involved.
Right.
That
it's like on a computer, right? Like for the most part, I can troubleshoot and figure stuff out. But when it gets into, you need to change the script, and I'm like, I don't know about all this. Like, I feel like I could really mess my computer up
for sure,
way,
right? Yeah.
That's why I do love. There's a lot of people out there that are like, all you have to do is go here, copy and paste this, and it's like,
well, that's
that
easy.
I can handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the way a lot of people are now. They'll post the whole script for you, and as long as they haven't made a mistake in there, you should be perfectly. And I have done that a few times, and it's worked. And I'm like, this is awesome, because the guys that I know that are big computer nerds, none of them live here anymore. All three of them have moved away. So
naturally,
whereas before, all I had to do was holler at them, and similar to like you said, like the one guy was like and just be like, hey, what kind of beer do you want? I just have him a case of beer basically for helping me out. It's cheaper than $75 for an hour of labor somewhere.
100%.
Yeah. So, anyways, we should probably move to.
I got one more thing.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I see we're getting a little long in the tooth here.
Well, here's what I was thinking.
What's
I was
up?
gonna talk about stuff from the Xbox games, whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that as a Patreon?
Sure, we could do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's just the 3 games. We can do that real quick.
Yeah. So I was on the Toledo subreddit.
Yeah.
And there was this guy or person, I don't know who they were, talking about this place right by where we grew up.
I know what you're talking about. I saw the same thread.
Okay,
yep.
So you saw the same, so I can't surprise you anymore.
No, but
okay,
still.
So this guy brings up this thing. He's like, hey, does anyone remember what that swingers club was?
Yeah.
on Jackman and Alexis, and I'm like, the fuck?
I know when he said that, I'm like, okay, and I'm going back to even our childhood, and I'm like, okay, there was a gas station, a mechanic place, another kind of mechanic place, and then like, well, at one point there was a gas station, but it got torn down and whatever. But I was like, there's no swingers club over there I'm aware of. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, it was called Rocco's," and I'm like, that was that fucking bar above the comic shop, and the laundromat.
Here's what's funny: it was Rico's was the name of the place.
Oh, okay, all right.
100% know that was the right name.
I remember your nephew telling me they got good burgers there.
I knew different people who went up there for like, I think it was like prime rib or their steak or something like that. I know all sorts of people who went there to eat. That's and had no clue if it was a swingers
That's why
club.
I was like, maybe it had some sort of weird like after hours thing. Or
well, the other thing I was thinking is there were multiple owners, I think, of it. Now maybe at one point it was more of a like just a normal kind of bar that had some food and whatever. And then when it sold, maybe it became more of a swingers situation. Because my family quit, like I never went up there because I was like, fuck those stairs. But because it was upstairs in the place and it was kind of a narrow stairway.
I remember I was never up there either. Yeah.
Jen's uncle used to have a jewelry shop.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
And he got a lot of business from it because guys would get up there and they kind of go buy a little piece of jewelry from him before they'd go home to their wife when they were hammered.
Makes sense.
But also he heard people fall down those stairs plenty of times because they were hammered. You know?
I mean, the attic. Am I right?
Right. Exactly. So, but yeah, I never, ever heard anything about it being any sort of a seedy place.
I Googled it, but if it was Rico's, I fucked up and I put in the wrong name. So
the last I had heard about the place is that people felt like the floor and stuff wasn't safe. And I thought that's what I had heard is why it closed. But somebody in that subreddit said that it got busted for something, you know, so I'm guessing maybe there was sex acts going on within the club or something like that. I don't know.
I have no idea.
But I never, ever heard anything that it was a swingers club or anything. So I don't know, but it was wild because the reason I know about it was because when I saw it, I was just like, is he talking? And then afterwards, I'm like, is he talking about Rico's? And then I saw someone post it and I was like, and then I saw your post in there where you were like, I used to buy comics and, you know, play Shinobi. And I was like, and because when I saw it, I was like, I wonder who that is. Because obviously it's someone who lived in. And then I saw the username. I was like, oh, it's Tony. Of course it is.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. It's just kind of weird because that very well could have been going on right there. And I don't think most people knew that it was. Because like I said, my sisters and my nephew, like they used to go up there and get dinner quite a bit. Because they'd always want us to go. And my mom was like, yeah, all those stairs, like, you know, my mom with her vertigo, stairs are not necessarily her friend.
Right,
you know, especially going down. Going upstairs is not so bad. Because, you know, worst thing that happens if you fall upstairs, you usually just kind of fall forward.
Or you fall forward, then fall down the stairs.
Then you fall down. Yeah. But if you're going down the stairs and you fall, that's a problem. You know? I mean, on the upside, you know it's going to end at some point because there's just, you know, a door or concrete out there. So, you know, you'll eventually be done. But
yeah, I thought that was so funny, and I'm like, I gotta tell Brian about it. So I'm glad you saw it. So
it's kind of weird when you think about, you know, that laundromat had some sketchy people in there off and on, and we went to the comic shop all the time. And then when it wasn't a comic shop a few years later, it became a baseball card shop.
That's right. Yep.
Called Bases Loaded. And I used to go in there and buy sports cards all the time. And I was good friends with the guy who owned the place because I had known him for years from buying and selling baseball cards. And, you know, and then Jen's uncle having a place in there. And there was the convenience store that was super watchful of us when we went in there because we were two kids.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Making sure we weren't stealing the place blind, which we weren't. We only went in there when Hopewell Gift Shop was closed. Otherwise, we would have went over there because she was way cheaper.
Yeah, and nicer.
Yeah. She wasn't treating us like we were stealing.
Yep.
I'm sure she watched the shit out of us, but I think after a while she realized we were good kids and weren't going to steal it blind.
We're just here for fucking 1 cent candy and balsa wood plains. You know?
We're here because we realize you're real cheap.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
You know, like this suits everybody here. We get a shit ton of candy. You make a couple pennies.
Yep.
Everyone's happy here.
You give visitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that shit was funny though.
That's wild. I know. It makes me wonder if there's any truth to it. Now it's like, because my sister probably would have never noticed anything because that wasn't their scene. They weren't looking for anything like that, So it makes me wonder, I was hoping somebody in that subreddit would kind of corroborate it, be like, oh yeah, I used to go there all the time, blah, blah, blah. And nobody did. Everyone knew what the guy was talking about.
yeah, that's what got me is like everyone knew.
Yeah.
But it's like, but no one, I was waiting. I mean, I haven't looked at it since I posted it.
I haven't either. Yeah. Yeah.
But still.
So I said, now I'm curious because, in fact, I forgot. I'm glad you brought it up again because I want to ask my mom if she ever heard anything about it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because, we were kids at the time too. So I could see where maybe, maybe there was like rumors and stuff that we wouldn't have heard because we were kids. But even as teenagers and stuff, like I never heard like, hey, don't go in there.
Right, for sure.
I never had anyone. I mean, obviously we were kids. That was technically a bar, so we weren't supposed to be up there. But I never heard anyone warn anybody about not going. Even when my sister and brother-in-law were like, yeah, we go there for whatever it was, steak or burgers or prime rib, whatever the hell it was. I never heard anyone going, stay out of that place,
So silly.
Yeah. Yep. Right above our noses.
I know, right? Crazy.
It is weird thinking back, like how much we did frequent that building, though.
Well, I mean, we didn't have a whole lot around us at the time.
Yeah.
It was the school that they tore down, and
yeah,
now there's a gas station. I mean, once they put that gas station closer to us, that's where we went usually.
Yeah, you're right.
Go get some.
I went there a lot because Subway was over there.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, which is not there anymore. But yeah, because I loved it when they put Subway in because I'm like, awesome, I can walk over and get sandwiches. Because otherwise there was no food right there.
There's really not many updates on the thing.
The closest thing was Long John Silver's down the road.
Oh yeah,
it was close, but not close. Or we went the other way where we went down to In-N-Out, which for those listening is not the same In-N-Out as there is out in California. It was a whole different chain, which is weird. But
yeah,
I wish it would have been that In-N-Out, but. Well, no, I don't, because we were. That was another place where we had like $1 and we could go get like 3 cheeseburgers and fries for like $1.
Yeah, yes.
So, God only knows.
You remember that time we rode our bikes through the fucking drive-through?
Yeah.
And they just got annoyed and waved us forward.
Yeah. Well, because they didn't have I don't think they had a walk-up window. And
no.
They didn't have.
No. We're just like, we need food.
Yeah, it's like we're hungry and our parents aren't taking us through.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, there was no updates on there, by the way, of anything interesting.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, that's too bad. I was really hoping somebody. I was hoping somebody would step in and be like, "Yeah, I went there all the time."
Yeah, some guy said he remembers an article in the Blade, but he's like, I looked online. He's like, you might have to go to the downtown library and sift through. That's too much work.
Too much work, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Screw that noise. All right. Well, I swear, like whoever owned Rico's originally, I feel like it was like a friend of my family.
Really?
Like I think it was a woman that my mom knew. I think it was her son owned it originally, but he sold it at some point. And I think maybe that's when it became the other. Because if they did get busted, it would have been later, and he wasn't. I don't think he owned it anymore. I think whoever bought it just didn't change the name.
I mean, is there anything in that space anymore?
Not upstairs. The laundromat's still there. I don't think there's anything in any of the other spots though.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, because the convenience store's gone too, which I'm sure that gas station killed them. Because why would you stop at that place when you can just stop at the convenience store that has gas?
Yeah, and a Subway.
Well, not anymore.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Yeah, Subway's gone. But yeah, for a while, you could stop in there and get yourself a sandwich. And whatever else you needed. What I always thought was funny about that Subway is Subway sold chips and pop. But remember when we would go, we'd get our sandwich and then go over to the convenience store because chips and pop were cheaper there.
Yeah, for sure.
Than getting them through. Well, you just get more for the money, So it's kind of funny the way that worked. I thought the same thing when I went to Eureka for the first time though too, because at first I was like, do they sell drinks? But now it's a little different. Now that I know, I think the same people own the convenience store that own Eureka. So it's all in the same pocket. So I was like, oh, that would make a lot more sense.
It's been a long time since I did a Eureka sandwich.
Oh man, I'd love to go get one. So one last thing before we go into the QoftheW here. So I sent Tony a picture of this taqueria that just opened up real close to me not too long ago. They posted a video of them doing some birria ramen, and I was like, oh my God, that looks amazing. Because, one of my complaints about birria is like you always get more sauce than you do whatever you're dipping into it.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't want to waste this. Like, I almost want to be like, can you give me a lid for this? I'm going to take it home and do something with this.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Even if I'm just going to dip some tortillas in it.
Bathe in it.
Yeah, well, some pour it over some nachos or something like that.
100%.
But with ramen, I was like, oh yeah, because then the whole bowl's meant to be consumed that way. I was like, that's that, and it was like, actually, that's not a terrible idea for a take home either. If you did have extra sauce, you can take it home, do a quick packet of ramen, and just dump it over that ramen,
add it to the broth.
Oh man, it'd be so good. But anyway, so what's funny about this? First of all, I mean, gotta go try this. But second of all, since I sent that to you, I've seen 3 people post, and this is in different locations across the country, that they had that same dish at some like taco place near them.
Like I want to say,
it must be like the new thing.
I want to say my little taco place has it now too.
Yeah, it's why it must be the new
ramen.
Thing. Yeah, but it looks amazing.
I mean, it's got to be easy for these. Like, just buy bricks of ramen,
right?
And then we'll just, you just cook them up, and then boom, you're done. Basically,
just to order. Yeah, when someone orders, you just drop the ramen. It doesn't, it doesn't take very long to cook, and then throw the broth and some meat over the top of it. Oh man, looks quite nice.
Hell, I actually had tacos from my taco place tonight.
Nice.
I had to get cat food after work, and I'm like, I got out of work super late because we're actually hiring people again, so I'm in charge of measurement training. Teach them how to use a fucking tape measure.
Right.
And so
it's complicated work.
It is. You'd be surprised, actually.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't.
Yeah, and then I was just like, I got off super late, and I'm like, we're podcasting.
Yeah,
and I'm just gonna buy tacos,
move,
and then my fiber supplements kicked in, and I'm like, this is the worst night of my life. I think I'm okay now, but we'll see.
I hope so. I was like, are we doing so far we haven't had to do a sequel to oh god, I forgot what
the old gravy leg or whatever it was.
I think it was Spastic Colon Surprise was the episode. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oof, where Tony was tag teaming.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
And this is like the only night this week I could do this podcast.
Right.
I'm busy the rest of the week.
I had a pork roast in the freezer that I had gotten from Aldi, and I couldn't remember if it was the barbecue one or the carnitas one, which really is not that big a deal, right? Like you can really use whatever, because the idea was, let's have pulled pork sandwiches, but it was like, even if you do that with carnitas, they're still delicious.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, right? And I was like, well, I can always, if it was barbecue, I was going to make some mac and cheese and throw it over the top of the mac and cheese,
Mm-hmm.
But again, carnitas are delicious over the top of, there's no wrong way to really do this here. And it turns out it was carnitas. But so we had some, last night we had sandwiches with that. And today I was like, I still have a little bit of my, I made some more steak udon. I didn't do that on the griddle. I did that in the house, and I think going forward, I'll do it in the house instead, because the way that they tell you to make it, it's essentially you make it in 2 parts and then you mix it all together, and it'll be easier to do that in a cast iron on the stove than on the blacktop, because on the blacktop, some of that, it's gonna be hard to mix that liquid as much in there. But there's a couple things in the guy's recipe that I'm for sure going to change. Like, I think he uses too much of a few things in it. Like that miso, bachan miso sauce. Like, I don't think you need as much as he tells you to put in it. And there's a couple things I'm just going to tone back a little bit, because I think for me, it was just overpowering. It was really good, but it was just overpowering. Like, I don't feel like you need that much to get good flavor, But it was really good. So
that's all that matters, honestly.
That was in last week's show notes for anybody who wants to make it. But instead of doing it on a griddle, if you just literally, I had a cast iron, and then started the veggies in a normal skillet, did the steak after marinating it in the cast iron. Then when it was about done, I moved all the veg and the udon over into the cast iron, and then just started mixing it up. And yeah, it turned out great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, we should probably move to the Q of the W.
Yes, sir. Last week we asked you, what annoys you the most about getting older?
Not being able to trust farts.
Top comment on Instagram is no comments yet.
Awesome.
Very sad.
Yeah.
But on Facebook, we got some shit going.
I'm very sad because it's like, we were doing good for a couple weeks there with me putting the actual question in the thing.
For sure,
that
right?
seemed to, people actually would notice it instead of just, clicking like and moving on.
See, we got lots of comments because people commented on our original post, and you and I both shared it.
Right.
So we got some shit popping off here, son.
All right. That's what I like to hear.
On Face page, Heno says, my younger sister is over 50. Yeah,
that's really funny because for me, it's similar. Remember I mentioned it was like, for me, my next sibling is now 50.
Yeah.
Like the next one from me is 50. So I'm at 40, going to be 46 this year. I'm the youngest. So we all getting old.
Mm-hmm. My buddy Todd, he says, getting older.
That's fair. I mean,
that is fair. That's fair. Jeff, he says, the way my knees crack like glow sticks in the morning when I get out of bed.
I've had that since I was in my 20s because of that stupid car accident. So, but I fully understand. It's gotten worse.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Ben, he says, being told you can't play certain sports because you're old and gonna get injured.
I mean, listen, that's good advice though.
Solid.
Like, buddy, you don't need to be playing rugby at 50. I mean, it's dangerous.
Right.
Or like in my case, I mean, playing golf would be too much of a situation.
Right.
Like, I got a back and an elbow and a knee. It's, golf's just a terrible idea for me as much as I'd love to go play golf.
I mean, you can.
So I don't bowl anymore.
I mean, I actually got invited to go play golf over the weekend from her dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have clubs. He's like, nah, we're just gonna screw around. They got these golf carts that are basically like electric, like e-bikes, and you just like put your golf bag in the middle and then you just ride around the course on like a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And I'm like, as fun as that sounds, I spent most of the day at my parents' house. So
yeah.
Like I wanted to, but I'm like, Anywho, then Jen, she says, having to wait for a younger person to try things instead of just listening to me, who's already tried them and knows best. P.S. What's even worse is when I'm proven wrong. And then, her brother chimes in. I know, right? Cat laughing emoji. Misanthrope. God damn, I can't say that.
You can just say Monica.
Word. Okay. She's cool with that? All right.
Yeah.
Monica says...
Even if she's not.
Fair enough. She says, everything on your person heads south. At some point, not there yet, I can just tuck my tits into my pants and forgo a bra.
Yeah. I mean, it saves you money in the long run.
Yeah, right? And then Matt here says, I never really matured. I just got older. I feel that.
Yeah. That's one of those things that I remember asking my grandma at one time years ago, like, what kind of sucked about getting to the age she was. And it's basically the fact that your mind and your body don't match anymore.
Right.
Like you think about it, it's like, for a long time, you're just like, your brain goes, you can do this, and you go do it. And then you hit a point to where your brain goes, yeah, we can handle this. And your body goes, well, slow down, Tex.
Oh, shit. Heno shared it on his page as well. So we got even more.
Oh my goodness.
Jesus.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Heno.
Brenda says, speaking for a friend, coffee, shrooms, CBD, wash, rinse, repeat. I don't think that I don't know how it's annoying, but
okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
All right. Well, whatever.
So let's see here. Yeah, I'll get back to the Heno ones because there looks like there's a decent amount here.
Oh my. Okay.
Veronica says, sounding like a bowl of Rice Krispies when I wake up in the morning. Accurate.
Yeah, that's very accurate. You stretch like me. Dude, I stretch before I get out of bed now.
Oh, really?
I stretch my legs, my back, my neck, and shoulder. Like I do a little of that before I get up. Even that's just you feel better when you do anyway. But part of it's because it's just easier than trying to just spring out of bed like you used to.
Huzzah!
Yeah.
Valerie says the fact that my body consistently cracks like a glow stick and yet refuses to actually glow.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad if you got some cool glow effects out of it.
It's very true.
Dude, as much as my knee cracks, it'd always be glowing. It'd be looking like E.T.'s heart all the time.
I'd say they look like a flashlight fish.
Yeah, I would.
Zach says the fact that you could have some random pain somewhere in your body and you must have done something to upset that random spot in the previous days, but that something was so minor it didn't even register as a hurt, and you have no idea what you did. In fact, you should in fact no longer do. God damn, I can't.
Right. Like your shoulder hurts tomorrow because you brushed your teeth today.
Yeah, like too hard.
Like, how dare you?
Lady Cheeto says gray hair.
Okay, fair enough.
Right? Okay.
I mean, at least you can generally dye it.
There's still more, Brian.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yes.
We haven't got this many in a long time.
I know, right?
This makes me happy.
Stephanie says, if you sleep wrong, you wake up and everything hurts. That's some bullshit.
The worst part of that's not so much that it hurts, it's that it hurts for like a full day, not for like a couple hours till you kind of stretch out a little bit. But it'll just bug you all day.
Right, 100%.
And you're like, what the hell did I do in my sleep? Was I like kung fu fighting? What's going on?
But why?
Yeah, it's like, am I a zombie? I get up and go do, like, am I weightlifting? What's going on here?
Why, body? Why?
Yeah, it's like, oh no, you just slept on your side tonight. Oh yeah, well, of course, fuck me for doing that.
Yeah, like how dare I?
Yeah.
I'm trying to, because I noticed at the very bottom here it says like some comments have been filtered out.
Oh, geez.
Like why? I want to see them all. You sons of bitches.
Offensive? Yeah. If they're offensive, we still want to see them.
See here. Oh, they filtered out Dev's comment.
What?
Because
how dare they?
This is what happens when you're no longer a Diamond Top fan.
Yes.
Dev says, sounding like the last few seconds of a bag of microwave popcorn while getting out of bed, or after having sat for too long.
Yeah.
And then your nephew says, sounding like a fucking box of cereal while getting out of bed. Pretty common thread here.
Pretty common one, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, they're not wrong.
And then
it's the truth.
Now I gotta go to the Heno ones that he added.
What's really funny to me is knowing some of these people, knowing their age. Like my nephew's only 3 years younger than you and I.
Yeah.
So he's pretty close in our age and stuff. But it's funny hearing people that are a decent bit younger than us, and it's like, oh, you haven't hit the next level of that yet. Like there's you level up.
Exactly.
Just like I'm sure people 50 and 60 hearing us bitch are like, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about.
You have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Like just wait 5 years.
Like, you dumb kid.
Yep.
Let's see here. I thought it had more than one photo, but I guess not. It's not. Let me click. Oh, it just fucking. Hold on.
All right.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So Stacy says other people. LOL. Sonia says I'm still 30 in my mind, but my body says otherwise.
Yeah. See, that kind of goes to what I was saying. It's different. Like that's the reverse of it.
Yes.
Like that's what sucks. Like when you're young and you feel old, but it's like I said, our brains don't age in the same regard. Like your brain still is like, yeah, you can do this without,
I do that shit at work all the time. Like, yeah, of course you can go pick that up. And I do.
My mom does it all the time.
And then the next day I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. My mom's 77 and her brain will be like, yeah, you can pick up that heavy thing and carry it. And she'll go to him and be like, oh God. And I'm like, just let me do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have young knees and back, so if for sure someone has young knees and back in the area, they're doing it.
I mean, I do in a jar.
Yeah. Well, that's different. That's for your experiments, though.
Exactly. Lori says, what Sonia said. LOL. Kiki says, children and pain. Brianna says, the fact that people don't think I'm old enough to have the aches and pains that I do. And then Jennifer says, people and pain. A lot of pain.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, that's awesome that Heno shared that, and we got a ton of responses this time. Excellent work, people.
I really do feel like there's an element of a lot of that pain and stuff that is like, I feel like we should all be stretching better, because that's what they're telling older people now to really help with arthritis is move, stretch, all that kind of stuff, because it helps you stay limber and it keeps some of the pain at bay. I mean, some of it's just going to come no matter what,
Dude,
especially depending on your job.
I'm going to freaking stiffen up like an old O-ring.
Yeah, probably. Yep. It was like, Jim that my mom was with, he had a shoulder that constantly bugged him because for years and years he painted houses. So, he's constantly moving that, a paint roller up above his head, or he's using a spray gun of some sort. My dad had the same thing in his shoulder,
Paint the house.
From spray gun and turning wrenches.
Paint the house. Yeah. That's a defensive technique, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it was all about. All right. So it?
Yeah, dude, I'm spent. Right. I've never read so much in my life.
No, yeah. Cheetos says, all this hair growing from places that it never did before. Seriously, what the fuck? I started losing the hair on my head in my early 30s, but damn if I didn't hit 40 and start sprouting wheat out of my ears.
Wheat, he says.
Salty Selections, asking myself every day, why does this hurt? He says, my neighbor's yard. You've seen it. When I was younger, I didn't give a shit about what his yard looked like. But as I've gotten older, it annoys the shit out of me that his yard looks like trash while I'm doing my best to keep mine nice.
Oh, I get that vibe.
And then the last one, I think, matches with what I said last week, which was all my timely references aren't particularly timely anymore.
That's a good one.
And it's similar in how I said the, you don't get the current sayings.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, what? And you don't get the reference because I don't watch random people on YouTube the way the youths do, or on Twitch or wherever they're watching them. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, hula hoops and Pac-Man video games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I feel you on that one, buddy. Where did I put them? There. All right. 1 through 14.
Oh.
Yeah, I pulled some new ones last night.
How about 12?
12? All right. Actually, this is one I was curious to see how you answer.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, I'm copying it. If you could change your height, what would you change it to and why?
8'5".
I want to be the 9th wonder or the 10th wonder of the world. 9th wonder was China.
Yes.
Andre was the 8th, 10th or 9th was China. So 10th is Tony at 8'5".
8'5", 500 pounds.
God, can you imagine being? I mean, God, I've heard Andre stories about how horrible things were for a guy that size. I've heard Big Show talk about how awful traveling is, like when they go to like Australia and he would have to travel. Can you imagine being on a 24-hour flight at 7'4" or 7'3", whatever?
That shit would suck.
Oh my God. Or Shaq for the Olympics, when they had to travel.
I mean, I like my height, but I would take an extra inch just because I got to get on my tippy toes to get shit off the top of my cabinets.
Okay. See,
that annoys me.
I was wondering because you're what, 6?
Yeah, 6. Like I'm in between 6 and 6'1". Okay. I don't know exactly what that in between is, but
so for a lot of people, that would probably be what they would shoot for, right? Like for years I've said I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl so I could call her.
Oh yeah, of course.
But no, I've said that I wish I was like 6 foot.
Yeah.
Right. And before, like last night when I was thinking about this, I was like, I think 6'2" is where I want to be, because you're tall, but you're not like freakishly tall,
right?
To where you still got to like duck under, most doorways and stuff. But it's like, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, there's so many times I've been places and I'll reach and I'm up on my tippies and I've got decent length in my arms and whatnot, but it's like, I'm like just shy of whatever I'm trying to reach. And it's like, it's frustrating at times for the same reason, like you said. And it was like, so I was thinking the same thing. It was like around 6'2" is probably what I would say.
It's like,
because I'm 5'9", and it's fine. You know, most things in the world are not too tall for me. But it would just be nice to be just a little bit tall. Also, you and I have been places and I'm like, I wish I was like 3 inches taller so I could see over more.
Right.
For my anxiety reasons, because when I'm in a crowd, 5'9", if there's a decent amount of people similar height or taller than me, I can't see open space and my anxiety ramps up. So it'd be nice to be a little taller so I could see over a lot more people,
I mean, the guy, my buddy at work, he used to do what I do now, Okay. So a lot of times I'll ask his opinion on shit,
Yeah.
And he's probably 6'3", maybe 6'4". He's a tall dude.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times he'll be like, one of the things I got to look at is like how warped some glass is.
Yeah.
And it warps, two different directions, side to side and up and down.
Yeah.
And he'll just be able to like stand over it and look down on the rack it's on and be like, oh my God, you got to come look at this. I'll be like, bro, I got to climb up on it and then look down.
And it's funny because it's only a few inches different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's tall
like,
enough that
inches?
I can't do it, though.
Yeah, right? That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be similar to like you doing that to me.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, come here, look at this. And you'd be like, God damn it.
I don't, it's like, let me get my step stool.
All right, lurch.
Yeah. Bend down so I can get up on your back.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm good where I'm at, but if I could, I'd just a little bit.
I was wondering.
Like, I had to get my tortilla warmer down, and I'm like, it's just, and it's all greasy because it's right above the cooktop,
Of course, yeah. I was. That's why when I saw that question, that was part of why I picked it, because I'm like, I knew with me it was going to be a change, but I was like, I wonder if Tony will change, because it's like, most guys that are 6 foot to 6'4" probably don't seem to hate their height.
Yeah.
Once you get over 6'4", you start encountering like, I'm a giant. Well, giant's what, 6'8", I think technically, but over 6'4", people start looking at you going, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, I mean, at my when I worked at the print shop, we had a dude, and this dude was a biker. He fucked people up, and he was probably 6'8", 6'9". He was enormous.
Yeah.
And like the first time I met him, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I worked with at the first video store I worked at was 6'6".
Yeah.
And I saw so many things be a problem for, like, we're putting stuff away at the video store, and he would do everything on the top shelf. I would do everything on the bottom shelf, because for him to bend all the way down to that was a problem.
Yeah, it sucks.
Because even when he crouches down, he's still taller.
Still big.
Yeah, and he's got lanky, long ass arms and stuff. But
I mean, every time I walk out of this basement, I have to tilt my head or I scalp myself.
Yeah.
So I couldn't imagine throwing over 6 inches
right?
onto it.
Yeah. Well, and like he said, at 6'6", you do have to watch your head on some doorways.
Oh yeah.
It just, most doorways are built at what, about 7 foot, I think, so that most 6 foot whatever people can clear them. But he said he's been in plenty of places where they're probably 6.5.
Especially older buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got to be real careful, or going into basements. You remember Jen's house? Yeah. How even I had to duck on that one. And again, I'm 5'9". I had to duck because that was built for, I don't know. I'm guessing that was built for somebody who was like 5'4" or 5'3", something like that. I was like, I don't know who built that, but that was a terrible design. That needed to be up a few more inches for everybody.
I remember I used to have to deliver to Heidelberg University in Findlay, and one of their buildings, the door to the basement, it was like a fucking Hobbit door. And it was just in their old buildings, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
How short were people?
Yeah, it's insane.
Like, were they hobbitses?
Yeah, it was wild.
Right. Yeah. That's why I said, when I saw this question, I was like, ooh, that'll be a good one, because I very much wanted. It was like, even if we don't do it as a Q of the W, I want to ask you, because I was very curious. Because like I said, for years I've been like, God, I wish I was 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Like, I just a couple more inches would make such a plus, let's be honest, essentially across the board, most ladies like a guy that's 6 foot tall and taller. So.
Just gotta get some of those DeSantis boots.
Yeah. I'm just gonna start wearing like Kiss boots.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. With the skulls and everything,
Absolutely. Batwing cape.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna dress like Gene Simmons, Kiss persona.
Perfect.
The demon. Yeah.
You're not gonna dress as Gene Simmons, the douche.
Well, I mean, no, because that would just be like a blazer and a button-down shirt. I mean, that's not real exciting. I mean, I'd look great.
It would look great.
Yeah.
You gotta train your hands to be extra molesty, though.
You're right. I mean, I am a handsy guy, but I'm only a handsy guy within consensual range. Yeah. I don't know that I can just grope anything that gets near me.
There you go. That is why you fail.
Yeah. Need to spend more time painting houses, I guess
so.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Good one. Once again, it's, if you could change your height, what would you change it to and why? I saw there was in the subreddit, there was a woman who's like 5'10" or 5'11", and she's like, I want to go to like 5'7" or 5'6". She's like, because guys have always been like, seen me as an Amazon basically. And she goes, and it's not been beneficial to me. Like a lot of guys are like, you're too tall, basically.
That's insane to me. I don't get. I don't understand it. I don't care,
dude. There's for sure a level to where I'd be like, this is uncomfortable. Like it'd be hard for me to date a woman that's 6'6". Yeah. Right. Like you're almost a foot taller than me. This would feel weird. But even then, it's like, right. But if the personality hits, I could give a shit.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I never understand in the dating apps. So many people are like, only, if you're 6 foot taller, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, really? You pass a chance at somebody you might really hit it off with because they're like me. I'm 5'9". If your bottom line is 6 foot, it's like, really? You'd completely throw away a shot at meeting me and maybe me being the right guy because it's got to be 6.
Oh, yeah.
And same with guys that are like, I only date short girls. And it's like, why? Like, I don't.
Because they're so much easier to throw into a barrel.
I mean, that's fair, but I understand our caveman instincts. We want to just throw them over our shoulder and everything. Of course. But I don't understand, especially as you get older. I don't understand it. Like I just don't understand being like uber picky on that kind of thing.
Who cares?
Right. There's areas you could be uber picky and I wouldn't tag you, but on that one, I'm like, I can understand maybe you have a preference. But to put a firm line, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah. Silly.
It's very strange what people's firm lines are. It's one of those things I'd always thought would be a really interesting podcast is sit down with people and be like, what are your firm no's?
Yeah, your hard pass.
Yeah, give me your hard pass. Oh, actually, dude, I need to get with Dev. We need to get this going now.
That's a great name for a podcast.
Hard pass.
Hard pass.
Oh, man, Dev, if you're listening, and I know you are.
You better be. Son of a bitch.
We need to do this podcast and just have people on that are doing online dating and just get their hard pass. I mean, we can even do it anon. They wouldn't even have to give their actual name, but I think it would be really interesting to hear what people's hard passes are.
I mean, I know a couple fellas that are way deep in the online dating world. If you guys actually pop some off, I can steer you some guys that are fun.
I really should talk with Dev about this. This would be really funny for us to take Team Hard Pass to the next level.
Team Hard Pass.
We could get shirts and everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
By the way, I saw on Instagram about a month ago, and I stupid me, I didn't take a picture or a screenshot of it to send to Dev. I saw a woman, she was at a bar and she had a shirt that said, "I'm single, talk to me." And remember me and Dev joked about making shirts that said that.
That's funny.
Because we're oblivious to people hitting on us, and it would be hilarious to see if people would actually come up and talk to you.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, so...
Oh, if I just hit my headphones, that's weird, Brian.
Well, yeah, you never do that.
Never. Everyone drink up.
Right. And while you're drinking up, head on over to saltylanguage.com.
There it is.
And click on the links.
There it is.
Including the link to the network we're part of, which is tangentboundnetwork.com. Check out the other shows there. If you're looking for a network for your podcast, please join us over there. And if you talk to Mark, ask him what his hard passes are.
Oh yeah, I don't think he says no to anything.
I think you're right. Other than, building us our own studio.
That's true.
I don't know why we still don't have one.
I have no idea.
He did confirm the other day that there is going to be a second year of his cosplay con. So congrats on that. So glad to hear that. Glad it went well enough to, make him consider a second year.
Oh yeah.
If you want to reach out to us on the socials, you can find us on Twitter at salty_language. You can find me on various socials at Stunami.
You can find me on the Instagram at the Monotony. Salty Language Pod on YouTube. If you're watching, it's cool. If you're not, you should be, because, well, I didn't really pull up anything this week because I'm a little off. Feeling a little off tonight, boys.
It's all right. You can watch me drink whatever beverage I'm drinking for the night.
Exactly.
This week, it was the brand new Star Spangled Splash by Mountain Dew.
Oh, that's exciting.
Which is Mountain Dew with a blast of red berry flavor.
How was it, Brian?
It tasted similar to Code Red.
They're running out of ideas.
I think so. Well, they just dropped 3 flavors like recently. So there's like a red, a white, and a blue. So I grabbed all 3.
You should mix them together and make a suicide.
Well, one of them, I forgot which one it is allegedly 50 different flavors in one. So I don't know what the hell that's going to taste like.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anywho, add Salty Language on TikTok if you're into that. Patreon.com/saltylanguage. We put up bonus content usually every week. Sometimes we drop the ball, but it's been way more consistent than it's ever been. So,
yeah, except for the last few weeks, we've for sure dropped the ball over the last few weeks. We have 1 out of the last 3.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's life.
It's
man.
life, exactly, and it's fairly early still, so we'll be able to do one tonight.
True.
So, but
in fact, really quick, the one we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk about the Xbox game showcase a little bit. We're going to talk about a few games. We're not going to cover everything, but we're going to talk about a few games that I think are more relevant to us.
And Brian, you also got yourself a little side gig.
I do. It's called The Crazy Life. It's me and Heno talking about whatever is going on in our lives, and sometimes we also talk about things dealing with mental health, mental illness, recovery and addiction, or just anything that we think might help us kind of just in the self-improvement realm and such. And actually that reminds me, I got to text him and see if he's up for recording.
Nice.
Because I think this is a record week.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, with that, I guess, what was this called again? Have a Star Spangled Splash. Actually, and one real quick caveat thing here is, if you are a person that still has a dad, please, reach out and tell him you love him and everything. For those of us who can't do that, and, if you got a beef with your dad, if it's something that can be squashed, squash it. Because trust me, there'll come a point where you'd give anything to have couple more minutes with your pops again. Yep. I know I would. I know Tony would. Yes.
Worst comes to worst, reach out and tell me Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, there you go. Right. I mean,
I'll be your daddy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you can call me daddy.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be your papa.
Yeah. Oh man, it's funny because in my brain I couldn't decide if I wanted to go Biggie or Bob Seger there.
Someone's had to have mashed those together.
Come to Papa. Anyway, moving on. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the end, right?
Is that the end? Yeah, that's the end.